Hi, so in this video I'm gonna show you really quickly how to perform the test we discussed today in Gretl. So please treat it as some kind of appendix. So in general, using statistical software is very useful. It saves you a lot of time. Like in many cases, you can do the same thing in Excel, but yeah, as you're gonna see, it's much more quickly to do in Gretl. So I have some sample data provided by Gretl, and I am interested in variable HE, which is husband's educational attainment in years. By the way, you can click and you will be displayed the data, but this is not what we are interested in. So for this test, you have to go to Tools, Test Statistic Calculator, and as you remember, what we discussed today was about comparing mean to some other predefined value. So I'm gonna use this one. I want to use variable from the dataset. My variable of interest is HE, husband's educational attainment. By the way, so here you have information about sample mean, standard deviation, and sample size. I want to compare this value to 12. In other words, I will test the hypothesis that sample mean is somehow different from 12. So my null hypothesis will state that average or mean value for husband's educational attainment is equal to 12 years. So when it comes to this box, it's ambiguous because basically you need to assume that standard deviation is population standard deviation. So in this case, it will be easier for you to reject the null hypothesis, but actually I'm not gonna do this. So let us go for more precision because yes, this restriction is extremely restrictive. Okay, so I wanna see the graph of sampling distribution. So this is what you get after you click OK. So this is t-distribution. And here is our value. So even though we do not know the critical value because we did not compute it, but for such a big number of observations, 753, and corresponding number of degrees of freedom, 752, like you can definitely say it goes into the rejection region. But this is just an illustration. Also, Gretl computed some precise test statistic for you. So for our case, it's equal to 4.46 approximately. And even though p-value is something we are going to discuss in the next lecture, you can treat it as some kind of alpha. So basically, we can reject the null hypothesis assuming an extremely low value of alpha, both for two-tailed and one-tailed test. So this value is very small. If you do not believe me, you can put it in Excel and then transform to the ordinary number, and you will see that it should be something like 0.00000 something. Okay, so actually that was it. I hope it might save some of your time in the future, and thank you for watching. See you in the next lecture.